All right, fuckers, welcome to Fantasy Football with McLovein. What is this, week number 6?
Yes, it is.
Week number 6.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
All right, so here's the deal. As we always do, we're going right into our news and notes.
Okay.
All right. Some of these stories may be a few days old, but obviously it is what it is. So, 4 days ago, sources say the Dolphins and others to inquire about Sean Payton, the coach of the New Orleans Saints. Multiple teams, including the Miami Dolphins, are expected to inquire about Saints coach Sean Payton's availability after this season.
It's a great move. You know, I think that Sean Payton, I think New Orleans is, after getting their ass kicked last week by Philly, if you roll back the tape to week 1, New Orleans is done. I mean, Carolina and Atlanta are going to fight for that division. I think New Orleans, unless they run the table, they're going to be a playoff team. I think this is Drew Brees' last year. I think time has come for Sean Payton. I don't think they'll fire Sean Payton, but what they can do, if they don't fire him, they keep him for next year, they can deny him speaking to other teams for another head coaching opportunity. So if everyone's, going for Sean Payton down in Miami, I think it would be a great move for Sean Payton to get a fresh start down in Miami. They still have a lot of talent. They just have shitty coaching. And we talked about Miami last week, how bad they suck. And, they have no control over their quarterback who, really doesn't give a shit about his own teammates, which says a lot about him. I think any team that could get Sean Payton as a head coach would be very wise to do so. And if that's who Miami's going after, then percentages say that Miami will give out whatever they need to give Sean Payton to get a head coach like him, because head coaches are just like quarterbacks in the NFL. If you don't have a good head coach, you'll never win. Sean Payton's been to a Super Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl. Great offensive mind, But he was behind that whole, thing with the 49ers when they were, paying players to injure. Bountygate, yeah. So I think if New Orleans decides to part ways with Sean Payton, then Miami will give him whatever he wants to. That's how bad they want to win down there. But also remember this: if Sean Payton is still under contract with New Orleans can deny Miami, talking to him. So I know it's still early, but that's actually the best decision Miami's made all year is starting to look for a head coach right now, okay? Because they suck. They're done. They're a bunch of wussies, pansies, pussies, whatever you want to call it, starting with their quarterback who, I think Sean Payton would actually be a positive to Tannehill down there. So I think if they can get their hands on Sean Payton, that would be phenomenal for Miami. Now, I don't know if that makes, New Orleans, why do they want our head coach so bad? Maybe they will hold on to him just to say fuck you to Miami. So we'll see what happens, but Sean Payton would be a good head coach for any team.
All right, the reports say that Giants Fells may have foot amputated. So what are we talking about? Giants tight end Daniel Fells has undergone 5 surgeries to stave off a staph infection, and doctors are fighting to avoid amputating his foot, according to a report by NFL.com.
That's too bad. Obviously no one ever wants to have their foot chopped off, especially if you're a tight end. He's a tight end, right, Fells?
I don't know.
Oh, I think he's a tight end.
Tight end Daniel Fells.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, that's going to hurt New York because more likely than not, if they chop off his foot, he will not be, able to play. I think you need both feet and both hands to play the NFL, unless they get one of those microbiotic type feet. I don't know, but it'll end up him becoming faster. So then everyone's going to be chopping off their feet and then getting these new boots that haven't been invented yet. So that could come into play if he's faster, But no, in all honesty, it's too bad. I can never. I feel bad for the guy, not for the team. I hate the Giants. So this one, Giants always have this weird luck, but not on this time. And if he has his foot chopped off, I think they can put him on the IR because I don't think he'll be playing any more football this year. So
probably football in general if his foot's chopped off. All right, Jamal Charles. Now, remember, this report is 3 days ago. We already know what happened.
Yep.
But it says Charles has torn ACL, preliminary report says. So, the sight of Jamal Charles being taken off the Arrowhead Stadium field with a likely torn ACL in his right knee was made worse by what happened after he left Sunday's game against the Bears. And obviously the Bears won and Kansas City blew the game.
Yeah, I think it was an emotional blow for the fans, not only, as well as the team. They're seeing their season just getting carted off the field. That's what it is, because everyone knows without Jamal Charles, Kansas City can't win football games, and that's the bottom line. And they showed it to you. And I mean, it could have just been one of those things that were emotionally beaten, and that all starts with the head coach. If the head coach is crying in the locker room, everyone else is going to start crying, and then we'll just lose to the shitty Bears team at home. Because we lost our best running back. We should have just stopped the game, and we should have just won. Jamal Charles is out for the season. These are the same fans and the same people down in Kansas City who were jumping for joy when they beat New England last year, if anyone can remember that, week 4. And, what goes around comes around. And unfortunately, I'm very close with the quarterback, Alex. And just the fact that they're losing their horse, they know that they're done. And when you as a team, they might come out and say, you know what, we're a football team, blah blah blah, pom poms in the air, we're still gonna be good. Everyone knows that without Jamal Charles, he is what makes Kansas City what they are. When they're relevant, it's all because of Jamal Charles, and he's the man. Now that he's done, you can pretty much, flush their season down the toilet. But they still go out there and they'll say, we're playing for Jamal. I wouldn't be surprised if they put a JC on their jerseys, because it's like Jamal Charles got both feet chopped off, or like he's dead, because that's what the season is now, the Kansas City Chiefs. So, Kansas City Chiefs are not nice fans. They're not nice people. I've been there many times, and they've said done a lot of things to our players. And so Kansas City, I'm sorry. All you have the Royals right now. So it's a big loss. Well, I'm almost pissed because he was my fantasy fucking running back. So he's done for my fantasy team, and if people are looking for sympathy from me, then you're never going to get it, because that's the game of football. They don't have a running back that can replace Jamal Charles, and they just don't have a good enough team to step above it. So Kansas City's done.
Okay, now, quote, the new, end quote, Andy Dalton pushes Bengals into Super Bowl conversation with overtime win. Quarterback Andy Dalton, known for shaky play at times in big games, rallied the Bengals in the fourth quarter past NFC power Seattle.
Well, before we start anointing Andy Dalton, let's let him win a playoff game first, which he's yet to do. So if this guy who always plays worse in the playoffs, if we're going to already put him in the Super Bowl, it's going to be, I want to see him win those 3 games to get to a Super Bowl, or 2 games, okay? Andy Dalton's a very good quarterback, and he is definitely positioning himself as one of the top elite quarterbacks, during the season, and that's great. He's done excellent. They're 5-0, and he's definitely the MVP, But all that being said, there's still, 11 games left to be played in this season, and they are, whether you like it or not, they are still the Cincinnati Bengals, okay? We have to take all this into account, okay? They're not, I don't even think they may be, it's between them and Denver, the second best team in the AFC. I mean, clearly New England's number 1. Clearly, I don't think Andy Dalton's a good enough quarterback to go out and beat New England in New England, which what he's going to have to do in order to get to a Super Bowl. Never mind beating a team like Pittsburgh in the playoffs, beating a team like Denver in the playoffs. I mean, the playoffs is when you sack up, okay? That's when we you really get a feel for, how big of balls they have, whether they can cut 3rd and 8 and they need it. If that Andy Dalton comes out of nowhere, which he hasn't done yet, we haven't seen that from Andy Dalton. All we've seen is, okay, I got to the playoffs, now that's my job is done. No. If you look around the league, the guys who get to the playoffs and win in the playoffs, just use that regular season as a barometer, and the guys that go above that barometer and above and beyond like Rodgers and Brady, then they win the Super Bowls. They get the Super Bowls. Now, granted, he's had a great season, but please stop with anointing Andy Dalton at this time, please. He's still a very good quarterback, but to put him in the Super Bowl, I mean, we have weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, to evaluate Andy Dalton. Who said he come out and be the Andy Dalton from, the shitty and lose 4 in a row? Then are we putting him in the Super Bowl? Fuck no, we're not. Okay, let's just wait it out. I know the media needs something to talk about, but let's talk about something else rather than Andy Dalton in the fucking Super Bowl, because yes, they're 5-0, but still they have a lot of ball left to be played. Stuff happens, shit happens. Marvin Lewis is probably one of the worst coaches in the NFL when it comes to the playoff time. So let's let them, get to the playoffs first, and then let's see if they can win their first game in the playoffs, because they're going to be fighting for a bye, because Denver's maybe will be close, to 14-2, 15-1. New England's going to go undefeated. So they might not even have a bye in the first round for all we know. So we'll see what happens. But before we anoint Andy Dalton, that's like saying, next year I could be president. Absolutely I could be president, but let's not put me as the president of the United States yet. Let me, go through all the qualifications, and if I get there, great. So if Andy Dalton goes through all the qualifications, wins the season, gets a playoff bid, wins the 3 games in the playoffs against 3 playoff caliber teams, and he's not playing fucking Cleveland every week or Baltimore, then we'll start talking about Andy Dalton getting to that level. And then another big level is actually winning a Super Bowl, which I don't think he can do. So Andy Dalton's having a great year. I'm not taking anything away from him, but let's just halt and relax on putting him in the Super Bowl.
Andy Dolphin.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, I said Andy Dolphin. And you corrected
Dolphin.
yourself.
Andy Dalton, I'm sorry.
Andy Dolphin.
Sorry,
all right.
Andy, if you're watching.
All right, so here we go. Saints offense keeps heading backward. An ugly loss to Eagles. Things have gone from bad to worse for the Saints offense and Drew Brees, who was sacked 5 times, lost 2 fumbles, and threw an interception.
Well, Brees, they have in my book, like I said, week 1 or even before the season's that they're done. So in my opinion, they haven't gone any further back from where they were. They're just a bad football team. Brees has no one to throw to. Brees is washed up. He's not healthy. He's got that shoulder. He's old. He's only going to get older. Mickey Loomis has not done a good job, putting weapons around Brees. Ingram is not the same guy. That line is terrible. He's got 1 receiver in Cooks. Then he got a couple of slapdicks, that catch the ball, but can't really advance down the field. So New Orleans is not the same team. So everyone out there that watches the show know that New Orleans is not the New Orleans of the past. New Orleans is a bad football team, and they're only going to get worse. So yes, they can continue to take steps back, and unless they win 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row, they're only going in one direction, and that's back. They're just going to be sitting in neutral, and I think neutral is a positive for New Orleans because that's how bad they are. Now, with all that being said, I don't know who writes these articles, but it's just one of those things that it's an easy article to write. New Orleans is bad. I could have told you that fucking 4 weeks ago. Now that he's getting his column in, the writer's probably playing with himself because everyone's reading this column when I could have wrote it on the toilet having a lip. So bottom line, bad article. Master of the obvious, and like I said, New Orleans is done. And unless they can get touched by that ultimate fountain of youth, which is not going to happen, then nothing's going to change because their defense sucks too.
All right, Dan Orlovsky replaced Matt Stafford at quarterback for the Lions during the game against the Cardinals.
I saw that, yep.
What do you think?
Well, Detroit, they're one of those teams. They're like Cleveland. They're like he's got the best receiver in football. Well, not anymore, but size and speed and everything. All he has to do is throw it up. He's got Golden Tate. They got a good backfield, and they continue to fucking lose. And Stafford is a good quarterback. I think what Matt Stafford needs is just to get out of Detroit, just like every other 1,000 picks they've made in the past 10, 12 years. It's just they get good talent, and they fuck them up. They just mentally fuck the shit out of them. Now, Matt Stafford got benched because I guess the head coach thought that Matt Stafford is the reason why they can't win a football game, okay? Matt Stafford is doing everything in his power. He mentally going into the game, he knows he has to score 40 points, okay? And if you do that to a quarterback every single game, they're not going to succeed. I mean, you have so many big problems on that team that has nothing to do with Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford's a good quarterback. Yes, he's the starting pitcher. Yes, he's the goalie. So let's bench him, and then automatically Orlovsky's going to come in and be fucking Bart Starr. You know, it's just not going to happen. You don't just replace the quarterback. And I guess, I mean, you have to trot Stafford back out there. You're paying him fucking millions. You can't bench him, you know, because what's that going to be? Orlovsky's going to automatically come in with the same, you know, personnel and fucking put up ridiculous numbers. Not going to happen because Dan Orlovsky is limited as being nice, a nice term to him, you know, because he's terrible. Matt Stafford is not a bad quarterback, but the team is 5-0. I mean 0-5, but they have to point out somebody like, oh God, our quarterback. We have to bench our quarterback because we're 0-5. You got more problems than what's his name with the having his foot chopped off. Detroit has more problems than that guy does. Because it's not just a quarterback. You got to look at the GM. You got to look at the head coach. You got to look at all these guys. There's still 52 other guys on this roster that are just pissing their leg every game. So, yeah, bench them, I guess. I mean, but you're making your team worse. I mean, what about going to the defense and just saying, what the fuck, you know, like you guys, what, your heart's beating? You guys even want to be here, you know, or, you know, you guys alive, or do you even care about your families or care about everyone else, or you just like losing? Now, if they just like losing, then they shouldn't be in professional sports, because if you're okay with losing, then, you know, there's so many other guys that would, you know, give their left foot to be in the NFL. So Detroit's, you know, they're a fucking train wreck mess. But hey, you know, I don't see him coming out of it with or without Stafford. Stafford's a good football. And maybe the best thing that could happen is if they get rid of Stafford, because then Stafford could go to a football team and start winning games. So it's not his fault. Detroit. No one's going to show up to the games because that's what Detroit is. But, you know, best luck next year.
Astrophysicist, this is interesting. Astrophysicist says Bengals game-winning field goal aided by the Earth's rotation. So, according to famed astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bengals kicker Mike Nugent can thank the Earth's rotation for his 42-yard game-winning field goal.
Stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
All right. Football!
Yeah, there's really no words. Tell that guy to go fucking jam his fucking, what are those telescopes up his ass, because that's all he's good for. He has no fucking clue when it comes to football and kicking a game-winning field goal and the Earth fucking rotating in the same. Come on. Yeah, I got a bridge to sell you in New York if you fucking believe that shit.
Rex Ryan breaks his Yes Sir wristband after giving them to players. Rex Ryan gave his players Yes Sir wristbands to remind them to limit their penalties, then broke his when the Bills were flagged on the first play.
Once again, Rex Ryan coming up with some bullshit, you know. They probably were all over it during the week, the media week. Yeah, yes, sir, we won't commit any penalties. And they just proved how much those fucking wristbands meant. Fucking nothing. They committed a penalty on the first play. So all that shit, all the yes, sir, it probably cost a lot of money to make these stupid fucking wristbands. I never even saw one, but if for the head coach to come out and like make this a big priority for the week, and then the first thing they do is jump off sides or whatever it was, and then him to not only be upset but to break his one. I mean, everyone else, you know, must have just taken theirs off, you know, and done it in a normal, mature, you know, way instead of breaking his Like, this is how we're going to win a game this week. We're going to get rid of these fucking wristbands, or we're going to have these wristbands, and everyone's going to look down at them before the play starts and say, oh, we can't let Rex down. We cannot commit penalties. And then the first play is a fucking penalty. So I think that says more about Rex Ryan just wanting him about me. Me. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I need everyone to look and focus on me because I'm Rex Ryan. I can come up with this bullshit fucking... The bottom line is wristbands and the fucking earth swinging one way or the other does not help you win football games, okay? You have to go out and play a 4-quarter game, not turn the ball over and score points in the red zone. It's not that hard. Wristbands, fucking with or without a left foot, it does not matter, you know? Superstitions, whatever. Just go out there, control the offense and defensive line, okay? Move the ball when you can, okay? Try to establish the run, get in the red zone and score points, and don't turn the ball over. That's how you win a football game. You don't win it with wristbands, not wristbands, whatever the fuck you want to call it. People these days, in 2015, you know, Lombardi would be rolling in his grave to hear some of these articles because he would just say, like, what the fuck? The world is rotating at this certain degree, and that's why I kicked the field goal? I mean, he would be like, just like me, but, you know, Vince would probably not even say anything because it wouldn't mean anything to him, you know? So all these people, all these coaches that think it's great, you know, let's put these wristbands. I'm sure a bunch of fans went out and bought them, you know, to see their head coach fucking rip his off on the first play. What does that say about your team? What does it say about your organization? Because bottom line, they're still not listening to him because they practice no penalties and we're going to put these little wristbands on you, you know, like Hail Rex or yes, sir, or yeah, or no, sir, you know. So fuck the wristbands, you know. Rex is, if he could just concentrate on just the defense and not about all this stupid other bullshit that he comes up with. You know, he just continued. It's all about him. If he could just take his pride and put his ego to the side one game, maybe they can, you know, put a couple wins together. So I'm sorry to hear. I apologize to all those fans that or the players who went out and believed in him and wore these wristbands. Some guys probably wore it just because they think it was cool. But wristbands will not help you win football games.
After drubbing by Arizona, 0-16 remains in play for winless Lions. After a week of saying they were getting better, the Lions showed they, without a doubt, are headed in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I just covered that. I think the Lions are a bad football team that's only going to get worse, you know, and the only team to ever go 0-16, see, is the Detroit Lions, and they're going to match their own record. And guess what? No one feels bad for you. Okay? There's not anyone in the league that feels bad for you. Wah. We went 0-16. No one feels bad for you because every other NFL teams know how the most difficult thing in sports to do is win an NFL football game, okay? Guys go out there and put everything in it just to win one football game. That's how much it means to the fans. That's how much it means to the organization. That's how much it means to the ownership. That's why they play one football game a week, okay? Because it means that much. And Detroit doesn't give a shit. I mean, mathematically speaking, they should win one game just by the other team giving the game up, and they still can't win like that. So not only are they bad, they're getting raped, they're getting taken out to the woodshed. So Detroit, another nightmare season. But you know, history tells us that they're a shitty team anyway. So,
all right, Jim Caldwell says Stafford's still the starter despite benching. Lions coach Jim Caldwell said Matthew Stafford will remain the team's starting quarterback despite being benched after a 3-interception effort in Sunday's 42-17 loss to Arizona.
Well, did they ask him why he was benched in the first place? I mean,
let's see.
To Orlovsky? I mean, so...
See if this even loads.
Here we go. All this nonsense.
Oh, here we go. Detroit Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford, this is, by the way, quoting Michael Rothstein, an ESPN staff writer, okay? Detroit Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford said he was told at halftime if he threw one more interception, he would be benched. Stafford did on the first drive of the second half, and he was replaced by backup Dan Orlovsky, part of a 42-17 Arizona Cardinals victory over the winless Lions. However, Lions coach Jim Caldwell said Stafford will remain the team's starting quarterback. Quote, really, it's like a pitcher not having a very good day, end quote, Caldwell said. The pitcher comes out, and the pitcher, obviously, he's still the starter. He's still our starter. There will be no issues there, so there's no quarterback controversy or anything of that nature. Quote, but I know one thing, we've got to get better. This was poor, just not the kind of outing that we'd like to see around here, end quote. Stafford completed 20 of 32 passes for 188 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions before being replaced. Orlovsky, playing his first game with the Lions since the winless 2008 season, completed 21 of 38 passes for 191 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Caldwell said the Lions, quote, weren't getting anything done consistently on offense, end quote, so he was trying to, quote, change the direction, end quote, at that point, even though the Lions were trailing 35-7 by the time Orlovsky entered the game. Quote, we just didn't play well, Stafford, end quote, Stafford said. Quote, it starts with me. I got to play better. Turn the ball over in the first half. Defense did a good job the first couple times trying to get it back for us. Did a good job of that. Quote, but continue to make mistakes and turn the ball over, and you can't do that and try to win games, end quote. Orlovsky said nothing surprises him, including going in midway through the third quarter with the Lions struggling. The Lions are now number 31 in the NFL at 292.8 yards per game and continue to have the league's worst run offense. Caldwell said despite Detroit's continued offensive struggles, there will be no coaching changes this week. He said it is his fault the Lions had, quote, no spark, no explosiveness, no nothing against Arizona on Sunday.
Well, first of all, if Caldwell really went to Matt Stafford and said, if you throw one more pick, you're going to get benched, he should be fired on the spot. Now, what that is saying to your starting quarterback that, okay, we need you to go out and play football. Most coaches would be just relax, forget about it. Just go out and play like you're a little kid, you know. Just go out and play like you're at Georgia and just start firing the ball around. If you get picked off, you get picked off. Fine, but you don't go and tell your starting quarterback, if you throw one interception, that's a no-no. We're going to put you in the corner and give you a timeout for the rest of the game because you threw an interception and I told you not to. Okay? The head coach should be fired on the spot. You don't do that. That's fucking terrible coaching. What that is doing is saying, look, I'm a fucking shitty coach. I cannot win games. I can't get these guys pumped up. You can't. I mean, get them getting ice cream the night before the game gets them pumped up. Okay? Now, getting them pumped up by saying, if my quarterback throws another pick, what's it saying is that you have no confidence in yourself. The team hates you. Everyone hates you. So all you want to do is blame this loss on the quarterback. You know, take it away off, we'll just blame it on the quarterback. Blame it on the quarterback when the quarterback has nothing to fucking do with this. Why don't you bench the whole offensive line? Why don't you just bench the whole team and not even show up in the second half? Okay? I would have had more respect for him if he just said, fuck it, let's just get on the bus and we'll get I would have been more respectful than if he just said, you know what, guys? He comes out and just says, you know what? Arizona, thanks for a great first half. We're going to, we're laying down, But he took it even worse and he said, Matt Stafford, okay, you're the reason we're 0-4. You're the reason that we're getting fucking ass raped at halftime. So if you throw one more interception, we're going to bench you because I told you couldn't do that. So once Caldwell, who's still fucking juggling his balls from the play against Seattle, he should be fired right now. The Ford family should say, if I was a Ford family, he'd be fucking on his ass. Fuck him. I don't care about the money. If that's your head coach talking to your quarterback, if you throw one more interception, you're going to get benched. And then Stafford, who's a man, steps up and says, yes, I take full responsibility, okay? Even though, we're all human, and even though that he knows that Caldwell is a fucking joke, he cannot come out and say that and create more controversy. That's what shows you a good guy Stafford is. Caldwell, I don't know what the fuck he does during the week because they're not preparing for a football game. It's embarrassing, and it's even more embarrassing for him to come out and tell the media, like, this is what I said. He obviously is high or he's drunk or he's on some sort of medication that takes his mind away from what it's about winning football games, okay? You don't go to your fucking quarterback and say, look, if you throw one more pick, you're out, and it's going to automatically change, and, Dolphins are going to be dancing on the field and shit like that. So, no. Caldwell just continues to shoot himself in the foot, and he deserves to be fired.
All right, this is interesting. California bans Redskin as public school mascot. California Governor Jerry Brown signed into law Sunday a bill that would prohibit public schools from using Redskins as a team name or mascot effective January 1st, 2017.
This whole fucking mascot thing is just a waste of time. All it is political. That's all it is, okay? Now, my high school were the Rebels, okay? Now, we can no longer be the Rebels about 10 years ago because of this family who came in from Mississippi. Yes, they're all African American. They made such a big deal that we're the Rebels, and that shit was fucking hundreds of years ago. I mean, are we really serious now? Christopher Columbus settled, what, 500-600 years ago, and now we're still complaining about the Redskins, and now a poor little team in fucking California who are the Redskins, who have always been the Redskins, now can't become the Redskins because their name is the Redskins, and now all of a sudden in 2015 we give a fuck about what Christopher Columbus, you know, it's all about these people, these Indians and everything like that, you know, saying, oh, wow, you can't name a team after, you know, Redskin, as far as I'm concerned, I thought was a good thing when you got a fucking Redskin. I thought that was more like hailing to the fucking Indians or whatever, the fucking tribes or whatever. It's too bad because, once again, you know, just because of politics, and I don't blame the people that make these decisions, because all they're saying is, you know what, it's just a fucking name. We have to do whatever we can just to make these people go away and shut them up, because all they are is protesting. I mean, with the Washington Redskins, and it's just a fucking name, okay? These people have lived their whole lives with the Redskins. Is it going to really change how you get up in the morning and go do your job? No, fuck no, you know? Like the Seminoles, okay? Yeah, they have the tomahawk chop. Yes, it's a tradition. Those people don't actually, you know, when they're doing the tomahawk chop, you know, think like, okay, you know, Redskins were fucking Seminoles were chalk, you know, Christopher Columbus came over and tomahawk chopped them. It doesn't, the players don't even fucking care. The head coach doesn't care. The Reds, I mean, it's just such bullshit. It's just like anything else in this world. It's just like it's just like having the woman be the ref in the NFL football. It's just like, are there good enough refs out there? Or is she better than everybody? But she's a girl, so we have to make everyone happy. No more Redskins, no more Braves, no more Seminoles, because those people can't handle it. They can't deal with it. They're crying, wow. Why is the team named Redskins? Why? Who gives a fuck?
Cardinals signed veteran pass rusher Freeney. The Cardinals signed veteran pass rusher Dwight Freeney on Tuesday, the team officially announced. He will receive a one-year deal, sources said.
Great pickup. I mean, Freeney, if he's got anything left in the tank, you might as well send him to a rookie, you know, to a veteran minimum, and get him and see what he's got, because you can always just cut him the next day if he's not doing well. So, yeah, I mean, give him a shot. Why not? He's got. Does it say how many career sacks he has? It's got to be over 100.
I didn't read the thing.
You know, guy that still has talent. He must still have talent. They must have worked him out and said this guy still can help us out. So it's a great signing.
All right, Luck back at practice, mum on status for his Pats. Andrew Luck was a full participant in the Monday's practice, but Coach Chuck Pagano declined to say whether the star quarterback would play Sunday against the Patriots.
It doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't matter which quarterback they play. The Patriots are going to kill them. The Patriots have 9 million reasons to go in there and fucking crush the Colts, and they're going to do that. If I were taking snaps on Sunday, or if Andy were taking snaps on Sunday, it's not going to matter, because the Patriots are going to come out for fucking blood, and they're going to get blood, and they're going to continue to embarrass the Colts. And the Colts are so afraid of this team, they don't even want to show it. So it doesn't really matter. You know, I know the meeting needs something. Who's going to play? Oh, is it Hasselbeck or is it Luck? Oh, wow, it's really going to make a big difference. Fuck, it's not going to make a difference at all. Play Hasselbeck. He's a better quarterback right now than Luck is. He's actually won 2 games in a row, okay? Now, I don't know why they're making such a big deal about this, because for some reason they think the quarterback for the other team is going to, you know, matter in this game, which, you know, as last time I checked, you know, Hasselbeck and Luck don't play defense, so they can't stop the run, and that's what New England's going to do. Is they're just going to pound it down their throat, like just like a cock in the mouth, just pound it, and it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. The Colts are in for a long Sunday.
Browns quarterback Hayden likely out for Broncos contest. Pro Bowl cornerback Joe Hayden has a concussion and is unlikely to play Sunday for the Cleveland Browns.
It's bad. I mean, it's a top-notch corner. Cleveland, has actually they've been playing hard, and I think that the more they play McCown, the more they give their team a better chance to win. Hayden's a top-notch corner, and it sucks. It's just one of those injuries. Well, if he's not going to play, they keep about talking him not playing. If he's not going to play, then stop fucking talking about it. Start talking about who's going to replace him and where we go from here, rather than we got injured, Hayden can't play, No, it's we have to replace this guy. Let's figure out the best replacement instead of crying about a guy not being, because all the crying and all the writing and all the articles you want to write is not going to automatically unconcuss this guy, and he'll be fucking Betty Lewis for the next game. So it's too bad, but
All right, Giants hope to have Beckham Randall versus Eagles. Giants receivers Odell Beckham Jr. and Ruben Randall both had MRIs on their injured hamstrings, and their status for next Monday's showdown with the Eagles is in question.
They'll play. I mean, it's a Monday night game. They have to play, so they'll play. And, if Beckham doesn't play, then they don't have a shot. Randall is only that good because Beckham is as good as he is, because he's a second guy. Now, they'll both play. Let's just leave it at that. They can be questionable right now, but I guarantee both of them will play Monday night.
All right, Jim. Sorry, you go ahead and finish.
No, I said because they need to, and if they want to win that game, they're going to need both of them.
All right, Jim Caldwell.
Again.
Lions owner unhappy with 0-5 start. Jim Caldwell said he spoke with Lions again. Jim Caldwell said he spoke with Lions owner Martha Firestone Ford, and that she is not happy with the results Detroit has produced on the field so far.
So his team is that bad, okay? Now you got to picture Martha Ford, who's probably 87, a nice old grandma, a woman, old woman saying
Martha.
She probably was just informed yesterday that they're 0-5, and someone is underneath her telling, come out and say something, Caldwell's a joke, he sucks, fucking fire him, fucking get him on the streets, have him go work at KFC or something like that.
Martha.
Unfortunately, that unless they do, I think actions speak more louder than words. I think if you just fired them, it's better than saying that you're disappointed that they're on. What are you fucking, I can tell you that a team would be disappointed being 0-5. I've been in 0-5 before on a fucking team, and it's very disappointing, okay? No one wants to be at work. It's like a morgue. And when you know your team's only going to get worse, and your owner, wherever the fuck she may be in a nursing home. She could be at my grandparents' nursing home, sitting in the next room over, for all I fucking know. But
Martha,
she needs to get a second wind, okay, and not just come out and say this and okay, now we can wait another 5 weeks and lose another 5 games and then say no, now we're really disappointed, So I think that coming out and saying that they're disappointed is more of a slap in the face than anything else to the fans. No shit, who wouldn't be disappointed at 0-5, The Lions fans are ready to hang themselves. They're already jumping off of bridges and everything like that. And Martha is, having her cup of tea and then having the warm milk before bed with a couple crackers and saying, you know what? I'm disappointed we're 0-5, I'm very disappointed. So, Martha, God bless your soul. If you had any balls, which you don't because you're a female, that's right. If you have any men that's underneath you that have balls, they would go to Jim Caldwell and say, "You're a fucking idiot. Get the fuck out of here. Go work at KFC or McDonald's."
Martha. All right, Jets defense welcomes back Hungry Richardson after serving a 4-game league suspension for marijuana violations. That's funny. Pro Bowler Sheldon,
Okay.
Pro Bowler Sheldon Richardson rejoined the Jets on Monday, vowing to upgrade their already stacked defensive line.
Does it say what else he did? Okay,
no, just said marijuana.
This guy, Sheldon Richardson. This guy's a champ now. This guy.
Is that the guy that took a leave of absence? Is that the same guy or no?
This is a guy who's up for Father of the Year. I didn't know you knew this. but he's up for Father of the Year.
Really?
Yeah. While he had these, many marijuana charges, and they said, Sheldon, you have to put the marijuana down. You're going to get in trouble. You continue to do it anyway, okay? That just shows you the level of education we're dealing with. Not only that, okay, this is the same guy, okay, who gets pulled over in his car going 115 miles an hour with a loaded gun, never mind, and with his 12-year-old daughter in the back seat, okay? Words can't even describe what you're doing, okay? He just doesn't get it, But guess what? No matter how fucking stupid you are, no matter how many crimes you commit, the only way a player like him will never, ever see the field is if he's in jail. That's the only place, because these guys, whether you're driving 150 with her slumber party in the backseat with two loaded guns and an AK-47, yeah, we'll worry about that later, okay? But we need you to play on Sunday, I guarantee you that if for some reason, fucking what's his name from New England that's in jail?
Aaron Hernandez.
If Aaron Hernandez, and this is the God's honest truth, if Aaron Hernandez for some reason gets released tomorrow, he will be playing he'll be on a team playing in some, you know why? Because that's how much the Jets need this guy, okay? They're going to say, you know what? This guy put his daughter in danger, would have killed her, had a loaded gun. Where was he going with a loaded gun with his 12-year-old daughter? Maybe she was going to be his alibi for another stupid crime he was going to commit. But it just goes to show you that, like, the NFL teams, like, they put all that shit aside. It doesn't matter if you beat your wife or if you get away on murder or if you're driving in your car 115 miles an hour with your 12-year-old daughter in the back seat after coming off of miscellaneous marijuana things. In everyone's normal job, anywhere you look, if you had all these things against you, you'd be fired and there would be no coming back. But you can't help a team win on Sundays. So if you can help a team win on Sundays, you can do anything you want except for fucking kill somebody to not play. No one's going to turn it, he just made a couple mistakes, If I made those same mistakes, I'd be in jail. And, these guys never go to jail. I mean, unless you're Mike Vick, who fucking killed dogs for all. I mean, you have to really go to the extreme. And there's not any NFL team. NFL teams need to win so badly that they'll put convicts on. And guess what? All the fans are going to be cheering and yelling and, Wilkins coming on the field. Yeah, we needed him. Yet this guy's a fucking criminal, but, the Jets, and it's not just the Jets, it's every NFL team will turn a blind eye to a guy that's a criminal as long as they can win football games on Sunday, because that's all that matters. That's what we're teaching everybody, which I believe. Now, if he's on my team, I'm rooting for him. Not going to lie for you. Not going to lie. I put all that shit aside so he can win that game on Sunday, because that game means so much. Football!
John Jastrzemski's role with Patriots still being discussed. John Jastrzemski, who was suspended as part of the NFL's investigation into the Patriots' underinflated footballs, does not have a defined role now.
I don't. It's something. I mean, it's just the fact, like, just give him his fucking job. Let him do what he was doing before. I mean, it really doesn't mean anything now. We're week 6. Everyone's forgot about the fucking Deflategate. The only reason that we're still talking about it is this guy still doesn't have a job. Maybe he should go out and get another job. Maybe whatever he couldn't have been making more than $11 an hour doing what he was doing. So maybe he can go out and rake leaves or clean gutters or something like that, or replace toilets or be a carpenter. There's so many other jobs out there that he could be. I think what the guy likes to do is, this is his 15 minutes of fame, and he's going to stay in the news, and because he was a guy, and no one really gives a fuck about him, to be honest with you. Just go out and find another job. You probably got kids at home that you're not feeding because you want to be in these stories so we can talk about them. Go out and get a job, support your family, and shut the fuck up.
Source: Broncos plan on sitting Ware versus Browns. The Denver Broncos are planning to be without pass rusher DeMarcus Ware for Sunday's game against the Cleveland Browns. A source told ESPN and NFL insider Ed Werder.
It's a huge loss. DeMarcus Ware is, remember him, Troy Staken picked, I think he was 11th or 12th overall in the 2006 draft. I remember evaluating, he was a horse, he's a beast. He set all kinds of records at Dallas. You know, he's a cornerstone for that defensive line. You know, him coming off one side, Dummerville coming off the other. I think it's a huge loss if he doesn't play. And he really must be hurt because this is a guy that thinks like I do. It's just like, fuck all the bullshit. My job strictly is to get to the quarterback and fucking kill him. And that's what he actually thinks. Now, is he actually going to kill the quarterback? No. But that's his mentality, is do whatever you can to be the best so you can help your team win. And that's what I respect about DeMarcus Ware. Keeps his mouth shut. Never hear him about tweeting or TMZ or all this shit. So if he's not playing, it must be for a good reason. He must be hurt because he's a big cornerstone to that defense, which is a very, very top-notch defense. And it all starts with DeMarcus Ware. And if he's not playing, it's going to be a loss to the Browns.
All right, well, here we go. Updated article. This is a day ago. Sources. Doctors optimistic Fells won't lose foot. Doctors treating Giants tight end Daniel Fells for MRSA are more optimistic than they were a few days ago that Fells won't lose his foot, sources close to the situation said.
Thank God.
Yep. Bills signed backup quarterback Johnson, released kicker Cundiff. With starter Tyrod Taylor possibly dealing with an undisclosed injury, the Buffalo Bills signed veteran quarterback Josh Johnson on Tuesday and released veteran kicker Billy Cundiff. This is hilarious considering they traded away Matt Castle 2 weeks ago. And they got a worse quarterback now.
Josh Johnson is garbage.
I thought he was a baseball pitcher.
I grew up with a kid. I grew up with a kid named Josh Johnson. We played basketball. The kid never showered. We call him Dirty Josh. That's all I think about when I hear Josh Johnson. So,
all right, warning shot. Trooper gets a pick with Cowboys running back. A Texas trooper faces a disciplinary review for having his photo taken with Cowboys running back Christine Michael during a traffic stop.
Christine Michael?
That's what it says.
Wait, is it running back?
Yeah.
It's a dude?
Apparently.
Fuck. I mean, if that's, I know cops and I know, military, and they're not supposed to take a picture with, so this guy's going to get suspended for taking a picture with a guy that no one even fucking knows. So if the picture was worth that much to him, being, not getting paid for his job, then let him take all the pictures he wants because it's fucking stupid. That just shows you that, Dallas, Texas police are fucking retards too.
Source, Cowboys turn to Castle as starting quarterback. The struggling Dallas Cowboys intend to start Matt Castle at quarterback when they return from their bye week, a source told ESPN.
I don't think that's good. Whedon's better than him. Everyone, in the Sunday night or Sunday, whatever the football saying Brandon Whedon's their guy, and then he threw a pick the next play. And, Brandon Williams is a lot better than Matt Castle. There's a reason why Matt Castle's been on X amount of teams. There's a reason Matt Castle, people trade for him, get a 7th rounder in return. There's a reason why Matt Castle is always a backup or a third string. There's a reason why Matt Castle was traded out of Buffalo and they're going to play a guy that's even fucking worse than him. Because Matt Castle is Matt Castle, okay? He's not a good quarterback. He's not better than Brandon Whedon. He has that name, that Matt Castle name that, is attached to him because he was with the Pats. And then Kansas City, he was, a Pro Bowler his first year in Yahoo and Waha and Good News, Unfortunately, that was back 7 years ago, okay? Now, things have changed from the last time Matt Castle was relevant to anybody to right now. And he hasn't improved in those 7 years. So I don't know why they're doing it. I'd rather have Whedon, but, I'm going to apologize in advance to Dallas fans that Matt Castle is not going to be the answer.
All right, more changes. Cowboys to start rookie Collins. In addition to making a switch at quarterback, the Dallas Cowboys will make a switch at left guard during the team's bye week. Coach Jason Garrett confirmed Wednesday.
With offensive linemen, the best 5 are out there because they're the best 5. Now, granted, people have bad games, okay? And New England has a better defensive line than Dallas gave them credit for. So if this is strictly off the way New England played, then they're not doing a service to their offensive line. A left tackle is a left tackle, and he's there because he's the second most important player on your team.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Zebra.
It's a zebra.
Bills safety Williams put on short-term IR. Bills starting safety Aaron Williams, who lost feeling in the entire left side of his body after suffering a neck injury in Week 2, was placed on short-term injured reserve Wednesday.
Well, that's good because he'll eventually get to come back.
He goes, yeah, it's a zebra. Oh, fuck.
Zebras in America.
Zebra in America. Here we go. Patrick Peterson credits film study weight loss for best start of his career. Teams are staying away from Patrick Peterson more this year than they have his first 4 seasons.
All the way, he's exactly right. So there's an actual football player. He said, you know what? I've been doing well because I've lost weight. I got my body into shape, and I watch a lot of film. Now, that's how people get better is you go back and you watch the film. You watch the film. You stay. All the guys that I've been around would watch film, till 8, 9 in the morning. I mean, 8, 9 at night. Patrick Willis, your Justin Smiths, your guys that will put in the extra time when no one's around just to get better. You see J.J. Watt doing that. You see Rob Gronkowski doing that. You see Tom Brady doing that. Because a lot of these football players, when they're released for the day, they go home and they do their drugs or they load their weapons or they drive X amount of miles an hour down the road. When a guy like Patrick Peterson is a very humble guy, he's a great defensive back, probably the most underrated defensive back in the entire NFL. He's attributing his success and he's saying, you know what, guys? I study. Now, if more players studied the film, because the film doesn't lie, and learn, you know what, this receiver does this on this down. This is his favorite route, okay? Receivers are not that smart. They're just divas, okay? So they will tip their routes, and he's noticing it, and he's actually paying attention to it, and thus results.
Martha. To curb penalties, Vikings have Xavier Rhodes practice with boxing gloves. Vikings defensive backs coach Jerry Gray hopes practicing with boxing gloves will help Xavier Rhodes cut down on his penalties.
I guess. I mean, look, penalties are all mental. It really is all mental. The penalties are all mental. I can tell you that for a fact. Now, penalties are being lazy. That's what it is. It's being lazy, getting beat. What you're doing is you're getting beat, and you have to do something to Zeberize it. Get back into the play. And a lot of these guys mentally are just a step behind, so they have to continue to make penalties because it's their only natural instinct is to say, oh, I got beat again. Now I got to reach out. Oh, flag, So he can put on boxing gloves. He can put on ice skates. He can put on, he could dress up as a dragon or a Jurassic Park character. This guy's doesn't matter if he has, is wearing a Rocky gloves or whatever. He's either going to commit that penalty because of a mental thing. He on Sunday, it's not going to matter whatever the coach is wearing. He could have been wearing a bumblebee suit for all we know. It's all mental. Bottom line, figure it out. You're an NFL player. You're making too many penalties. Figure it out. Figure it out on your own. You're a man. You're getting paid millions. Say, look, this is what's happening, and this is where I always am. It's a definition of being insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome. So, figure it out. You don't need boxing gloves or painted faces or Dungeons and Dragons or Jurassic Park 2 box set to stop having penalties. So the coach can do whatever they want, and it's just like the no penalties with the wristbands. And it's just like you're looking at yourself, and I'm looking at the television, and I'm like, what has happened to football?
NFL should follow CFL's lead and review pass interference. Pass interference is not a reviewable play in the NFL's replay system, but why not? The precedent already has been set north of the border. Oh, Canada.
I don't agree with it. The pass interference call, and I remember working for Mike Nolan, and I'd have to find film, okay, on every single pass interference call, and we'd send it into it's one of those things that it's such it's a human call. It's a call made by a judge that are the most trained at these pass interference calls. So it's not just Jimmy Stewart off the street making these calls. They're the most trained people in the entire world to make the pass interference call or non-pass interference call. Now, with all that being said, I remember specifically, okay, sending tape to the NFL saying that pass interference, okay, if you throw it long, 50, 60, 70 yards in the air, and the guy jumps up and the other guy jumps up and he says it's a pass interference, then the ball is automatically on the 1 yard line. That's one side of it, okay? The other side of it is, having a pass interference call which is missed. And everyone and their sister knows it's missed. And then they'll... So... pass interference right now, if you think it's rocky right now, it's only going to get worse if they start implementing replay on pass interference. Because guess what? No matter what happens, it's a judgment call. And even when it goes up to the booth, it's a judgment call. So it's only my judgment versus Andy's judgment, and that's why it has to remain called on the field. It's a judgment call. If you start replaying pass interference, it's going to be another judgment call up in the booth. Then it comes down to, it has to show evidence that, there's more than enough evidence to say that he was interfering or he wasn't interfering. It is what it is. It's the toughest call in football, but guess what? That's why these guys have their jobs. That's why these linesmen and side judges have their jobs. They're the most equipped to make that call at live speed. It's so much easier when we slow it down to be like, oh yeah, that was pass interference, But during the speed of the game, when the ball, the game is so fast, that's why we have these refs to do that. So I think they should just let it be. I mean, we can't go up to Canada and take their suggestion. I mean, it's just not. If Canada's doing it, then it automatically means we shouldn't be doing it because we shouldn't copy Canada in anything, except for strip clubs, and underage drinking. Leave it the way it is. And, all I'm saying is that, yeah, people will be happy, but let those people be the same people that have another judgment call that doesn't go their way, and they're going to be like, I hate this fucking rule. And, yeah, so let it be human, and trust me, it will save a lot of headaches.
NFL blames clock operator and refs for MNF gaffe. The NFL has blamed an error by a clock operator and the failure to correct it by on-field officials for an unusual runoff of 18 seconds near the end of Monday's Steelers-Chargers game.
It's just like anything else, and going even back to what I was just saying about the pass interference calls is we always get something back in the mail or, saying, you're right, we were wrong. And sometimes that's the worst news to get because it's not going to change anything, okay? They fucked up, okay? They should have had 16 more seconds, but guess what? It doesn't fucking matter. It only makes you more upset that they fucked up and they admitted that they fucked up, but the game's over. So it's not like we can go back to that specific later. Get the guys on the bus, get the cheerleaders ready with their pom-poms because we're going to go back on a Tuesday afternoon and we're going to go back to where this person put 16 seconds back on the clock and we're going to. If that were to happen, then I would say yes, come out and say this all the time. But if it's not going to affect and it's only going to hurt the team that already was fucked in the beginning, and you come out and say, you know what, we screwed up. I'm sorry. We'll send you flowers and a card and everything like that. If you fuck up, just let it be. Just let it be. A team's already trying to get over that. For you guys to come out and say, you know what, we fucked up, it's just a double whammy to these teams. And I've been on the worst sides of these written things back from Tagliabue. Yes, coach, you were right. That was pass interference, okay? We're sorry. Guess you can stick your sorries. You can stick them right up your ass because all it is saying that you fucked up. We should have been, right to begin with, but guess what? It doesn't matter anymore, and nothing happens, okay? Nothing happens to these people that make the wrong call. What's going to happen to those people that in the booth that fucked up the clock? No, they're still going to be there next Sunday. They're not going to lose their jobs. And guess what? San Diego's not going to get 16 seconds with the ball. They're not going to get a chance to go down there and kick a field goal to tie it up because it's over. We can talk about it all day. We can semantics, all day long. It's not going to change. So NFL, if you fuck up, just leave it at you fucked up. Don't come back and say sorry because you can stick your sorries up your fucking mother's twat.
Lions Levy to have hip surgery out indefinitely. Detroit Lions linebacker DeAndre Levy will have surgery on his hip and be out for an undetermined amount of time.
He's not missing anything. If you're a Lion, you want to just, be hurt, fake an injury so you can just watch.
Roethlisberger ready for limited practice reps. Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger is ready to participate in practice 17 days after suffering a sprained left MCL and bone bruise, widely believed to be a 4 to 6 week injury.
Yeah, I mean, Big Ben is as tough as they come in the NFL. Big Ben is, once he moved on from, raping girls in the bathroom and having a bodyguard, stand outside the door, or raping a girl in Denver, Colorado at a golf tournament. Once he moved on from, flipping his motorcycle and getting, concussed or whatever with no helmet on, once he's moved on from all those stupid things that puts you in the media in a bad name, he's a good quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. In my opinion, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Now, with all that being said, like I've talked about with injuries thus far in this season on this video, if the reason why we have doctors, at that level are there to make that decision, okay? Myself, Andy, Tomlin, everyone in that organization are in those roles because they're great at doing that role, okay? This doctor who's in that role for a reason will say, Big Ben's ready to go, or he's not ready. And guess what? It's his final decision. Because if they say he's not ready to go, and Tomlin fucking puts him in there and he gets hurt again, then, the doctor's going to be sitting there like, what the fuck? Why do you even bother having me here? This is my job. This is what I get paid. This is what I went to school for 40 years for, is to make these decisions. So, I think the bottom line is Big Ben will be ready to go when he's ready to go. Just like Dez and just like Romo. They'll be ready to go when they're ready to go. And that's all you have to know as a fan. That's all you have to know as a team. They'll be ready to go when they not, he's throwing balls. Oh, he looks good. I saw him before the game. He's moving well, It doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter what the head coach thinks. It's the doctor's opinion. If you put your trust in that doctor to make that fucking decision, which is a big decision, only he'll be ready to go when he's ready to go. Let's just worry about Sunday's game. If he's there, great. If he's not, we have to prepare for the game without being, So, I'm sure we're going to read a lot more of these articles. He looks good in the gym shorts, He looks, he's going left to right in a slow motion very well, But nothing that he does on, in underwear on the side is anything comparable to a defensive end coming down and landing on its foot because then he's out again. So Big Ben will be ready when Big Ben's ready.
Lions quarterback Stafford and Caldwell, quote, good after benching. Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford, who has twice spoken with Jim Caldwell since Sunday, said his relationship with the coach is, quote, good, and he's ready to move on after being benched.
Once again, Stafford saying all the right things. It's a tough locker room when the leader of your team, okay, the last 2 weeks, one, he didn't know the rule book, okay? He did not know the rule book of the sport that he works in, that if a guy intentionally pushes the ball out of bounds, you should retain the ball because it's a penalty. He didn't know that. So the refs were like, oh, fuck, we fucked up. We're going to get a lot of shit. All Caldwell was doing was like, you know what, ho-hum, I'm just going to twist my thumbs and the refs were like, thank God he's a fucking idiot, Now, with the Stafford thing, like we covered before, telling him that he's out if he throws a... Caldwell, Matt Stafford can come out and say he's friends with Caldwell when he fucking hates him, okay? Anytime as a competitor, when you're taking out of the game, you fucking hate that guy. If you don't fucking hate that guy, then you're not a competitor. Then you're saying, okay, it's okay for me to leave this game. It's never okay. You got to go out there and fucking win.
Football!
And if it's okay for you to be taken off the field, and that guy is your friend for bench. Oh yeah, Andy's gonna bench me. He's not gonna pick me. Oh, he's my friend, so I mean, I guess I have to be okay with it. Fuck that shit. He's saying the right things. Detroit's a mess. They can write all the quarterbacks, they write all the fucking articles they want. They're never going to win. I think Matt Stafford at the end of the season will come out and say, you know what, fuck Caldwell. He's a fucking idiot. Should have never fucking been here. He's a fucking loser. He sucks. He doesn't know the rule book. He's more concerned about his brownies that he has to make during the week. Whereas his wife must bring him in with the whole thing on top, and everyone's happy, you know. And then you got the Martha upstairs with the chocolate milk at night in the nursing home, you know, saying that we're upset. So
Martha.
Yeah, I guess you could say they're good friends, but truth be told, you know, none of that shit means anything. He fucking hates him.
Kaepernick not worried about arm mechanics. San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick conceded Wednesday that he's not, quote, big on his mechanics.
He's got shitty mechanics. I mean, anyone that's been around football, he takes forever to fucking... He takes more time than one of our managers at our work to get to a table. And I think we all know who we're talking about. His mechanics are so bad, they're so slow. He is not a pocket passer. And when you're trying to, like I said a lot, force that peg into that hole and it's not fitting, it's not fitting, it's not fitting, it's not fitting, and guess what? It's not fitting. You're standing there all day trying to fit that peg. You can't do it. Unless he goes into a coma, okay, and forgets how to play the quarterback position as a whole, and then comes out, still has that talent, but you have to teach him to throw a ball all over again. Maybe that's the only way you're going to teach him. But this guy's been doing this for years, okay? It's like being a doctor and just being like, you know what? After 40 years of being a doctor, I'm going to do it a whole different way because, you know, I think that, you know, it will be better and then people will die, you know? This guy's throwing motion is never going to get better. They made a stupid decision. They got to rectify it, and guess what? They can say all they want about it. If they're not winning football games, his left shoe is not tied as tight, or his socks aren't as high, or the headsets aren't working, or we didn't have enough Gatorade, or the towel wasn't on my shoulder correctly, you know, or you know the ump was playing with the footballs before. Oh, one team is inflating and one feet. It doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't mean anything, and people want to come up with like. No, he wasn't wearing his jockstrap as tight as he should have been wearing, and that's why we're losing. And everyone's like, you know what? That's right. He probably wasn't. So if they're winning games, if they're 5-0 right now, no one's fucking talking about his arm. If he's winning games, it doesn't matter. You know, but then you critique and you pick and you say, look, he needs to throw better. No shit, he needs to throw better. He has bad mechanics. No, he had bad mechanics back in 2012 when they put him in. He was the gazelle against Green Bay in the fucking playoffs, and everyone loved him, and no one was talking about his mechanics back then. But now that they're losing, it's got to be his mechanics. It's the mechanics.
Mechanics. Mike and the mechanics. Bills' Sammy Watkins on calf injury. Quote, if it pops, it pops. Bills receiver Sammy Watkins expects to play Sunday against the unbeaten Bengals, even if it means potentially aggravating his injured calf.
You know, I give him credit because he's right. If it pops, it pops. Fuck it. Go out and play. If it pops, it pops. Because with these injuries these days and the way they're just like poo-pooing it and they got to make sure the guys, you know, feels good and 100%. Just go and play the fucking game. If it pops, it pops. I agree with him completely. You know what? If he goes out there and it pops on him, then you know he's going to get paid. You know because he went out and played. He's got balls. Instead of just sitting on the side and feeling sorry for yourself and I could help my team, but my calf hurts a little bit. You know, so just I think more players should take that. It's a football game. It's a physically challenging game.
Football!
And if you're worried about these little things like the running back in fucking Denver about his turf toe and, you know. Like,
my toesies hurt.
My toe hurts. I can't play.
My toesies.
You know what? If they had a women's football league, then which they don't, but these guys could, you know, be top fantasy picks for a women's football league. All you have to do as a football player is just sack up and fucking play the game. It's a physical game. If you can't handle it, don't play it. Okay?
Football! Patriots place left tackle Solder on injured reserve. The New England Patriots place starting left tackle Nate Solder on injured reserve Wednesday, ending his season.
This is huge because Nate Solder, believe it or not, was the second most important person in Tom Brady's life after his wife Giselle. Okay, this guy protected his back. This is why we have the left tackle. This is why the left tackle is the second most important player on your team, other than your quarterback, because he's protecting your quarterback's back. It's huge. Now the wife beater, the guy from Dallas, the guy that beats on his wife and gets told not to. Hardy, who beats his wife and then continues to beat his wife, and then is told not to beat his wife, and he continues to beat his wife, and then gets suspended a couple games for beating his wife, and then comes back and beats his wife a little bit more because I guess he didn't beat her good enough the time before. So this guy, had a hell of a game, and he was all over Brady like flies on shit. He really did a number on the left tackle, and guess what? The left tackle's out for the year. Now, this is a great example. New England is not going to say, wow, we lost our soldier. We lost our left tackle. Wow. No, they're going to get a ripe and mark in Cannon's face and say, look, you have a role on this team. You're going to go in the left tackle and fucking do your job. Bottom line. And that's it. No articles. It's been said.
Antonio Brown and Michael Vick trust me to make plays. Pittsburgh receiver Antonio Brown's message to backup quarterback Michael Vick this week. Let me do my thing.
He's right. Give him the fucking ball. He only got 2 targets in the second half against San Diego. Luckily, Vick, pulled the play out of his ass like a 75-yard pass, which was great. They won the game. But Brown is right. Give him the fucking ball. He's arguably
fucking football over here.
Yeah, just give him the ball. Yeah. He gets open, and Vic's not looking for him for some reason. Maybe this guy likes dogs, and that's why he's not passing the ball, because Michael Vick doesn't like dogs.
I see.
I think that's the reason.
So, last article of the night. Thank God this has been taking forever. Tony Romo to Tom Brady after game, quote, see you in February. After the Cowboys lost to the Patriots, injured quarterback Tony Romo told Tom Brady, quote, see you in February. Man.
I think what we were reading earlier, which was false, where he said LOL.
LOL, yeah, there was a Vine.
K. Good for Romo. I mean, he's got his goals set where they need to be. Do I think Denver will be playing New England in February? No, not even a chance. I think Dallas is
not Denver, Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas is a bad. Like I said about the NFC East, it's a smart kid to dumb road. It's saying like you don't sweat too much for a fat broad.
The best of the shit.
It's the backhanded compliments. They'll win their division, but they're not getting to the Super Bowl because guess what? They still have to play Green Bay, and nobody is going to beat Green Bay at Green Bay unless you're the New York Giants.
All right, so we're going to segue right into our segment of emails. So, Patrick, you had an email that you wanted to read.
From CHCH.
I also have 2. I'll go after you.
Okay. CHCH says, what do you think about the tight end from Baylor? And I was, it was weird. I saw this guy catch another touchdown pass. This guy, 6'7", 410, okay? We're talking a big boy, okay? I think his name is like Laquan McEwen or something. Anyway, this guy's a fucking horse. He runs in motion. He catches a ball. He's high-stepping. He's fucking jumping. I mean, this guy is a real deal, and he's a tight end, and he's 4'10", okay? This guy,
410.
410 pounds. So what I think about this guy, I love this guy. You know why? Because he's a big guy, and he's going against everything than what people say big guys shouldn't do. He's a tight end, and he's catching passes. He's jumping guys. He's scoring touchdowns. And you know what he's saying to everybody else? Look, I'm 410 and you can't stop me. So good luck.
Is he going to be a force in the NFL?
I think what they'll end up doing with him is shedding a couple pounds and making him a tackle or a guard.
Okay. Steve Goldman has emailed both of us. He says, hey, Andy. Hey, McLovein. It's Steve Goldman. I was wondering, can you guys help me on my fantasy team? Who should I start for quarterback? I have Eli Manning or Carson Palmer. I can only start one. For running back, I have Mark Ingram, Tevin Coleman, C.J. Anderson, Amir Abdullah. I can start 2 running backs. And for wide receivers, I have John Brown, Willie Snead, Leonard Hankerson, Ty Montgomery. I can start 3. Thanks, guys, for your help.
Let's start with the quarterback.
Okay.
Carson Palmer.
You got Eli Manning or Carson Palmer?
Eli at Philly and Carson at Pittsburgh. I would say Eli's hot. Philly's defense, not so much. Carson Palmer. I would start Eli Manning.
Yeah, I think Eli, and I'm going to throw in my 2 cents, but obviously take McLovein's advice here. Pittsburgh defense is really good. Arizona's offense is pretty good. New York's offense is above average. Philly's defense isn't that horrible. I think what will eventually happen, though, is Eli, as far as yards getting thrown, I think Eli Manning will outgain Carson Palmer. I just have a feeling that Eli Manning might throw 1 or 2 interceptions. That's what I'm worried about.
The thing is, Pittsburgh's a tough place to play at home. I mean, if they were playing in a Burger King parking lot, I'd say Carson Palmer. But taking all elements into account, that Monday night, Eli, Sunday night, he stepped up, made some big fucking plays. He loves the spotlight. I think it's a divisional game. And if I had to make the decision between Carson Palmer and Eli Manning, I'm going to go with Eli
All right,
Manning.
so you got 2 running backs. Your choices are Mark Ingram, Tevin Coleman, C.J. Anderson, Amir Abdullah.
Definitely Ingram out of those 4. Then Abdullah, no, because he plays for Detroit. Tevin Anderson, he's plays for Atlanta, but Devontae Freeman's the guy. Tevin Coleman. And C.J. Anderson, that's tough. I mean, C.J. Anderson's a pussy. Denver is playing Cleveland.
Yep.
I mean, that's tough. I would say
Anderson and Ingram.
Probably, yeah, unfortunately.
All right, and then wide receivers, he has John Brown, Willie Snead, Leonard Hankerson, Ty Montgomery. He can start 3 of those guys. So basically, who not to start? Brown, Snead, Hankerson, Montgomery. Which guy do you not start?
Snead.
All right, so let me reply here. So you got, whoopsies. Oh, no, this is going to be ridiculous right now.
So Eli, play Ingram, play C.J. Anderson, play John Brown, play Hankerson, and play Montgomery. That's the reply right there.
All right, well, here's the problem.
Steve watches the show. Steve, right? You're watching the show, bud, right?
Well, he has no idea. It's not. We haven't uploaded it yet. But for some reason, my internet ain't working. So what do we got? Manning.
Yep.
Anderson and
Ingram,
and then no
Brown.
Snead. No Snead.
Yeah. So
the other 3 guys are fine, but no Snead.
And the other 3 guys are Brown, Hankerson, and Montgomery.
Yeah, Montgomery, whatever it was.
Okay.
All right, this is ridiculous. Okay, so can I even get to the second email that Steve Goldman sent us? Right now, let me close everything here. This is ridiculous. For some reason, my wireless internet, I'm connected, but it will not do anything. I'm going to restart my router after this, obviously.
You would think in the year 2015 we wouldn't have to worry about all this shit, but you know what? It comes down to them making more money, so all they want to do is create more problems for the consumer so that we go out and buy more and try to get better and more and more and more and more. Give them more money. Never stop giving them money because that's how they don't give a fuck about our, please hold. Your call is important to us. No, it's like how much we want you to spend more money. And then go out and spend more money and then get more pissed off and come out and spend more money and then eventually spend more money. So that's what they're doing to you.
Yep. So here's the second email. Frank Gore just got dropped. Should I pick him up?
Yes.
Okay.
Do it right now.
Right now.
Football! Email him right now and say, yes, pick him up.
I would if I had my internet.
Okay.
Okay, so now the deal is we're going to go right into the picks. Last week against the spread, you went 8-5-1.
8-5-1.
To bring your total for the year to what now?
42, 34, and 1.
Okay,
and
so
the
let's
percentage on that is...
So basically just do 42 and 34, right? Because you can't do...
No.
Yeah. 42 and 34, whatever that is. 42 plus 34 divided, and then percentage it.
I will.
Yep. He's got his calculator. Say, Martha.
76. So 42
divided by
76.
52%.
55%, right where I guaranteed I'd be from the beginning. Roll back, I guarantee anywhere from 55 to 60%. 55%, 42 and 34 means that you're up. If you had listened to me from the beginning, which none of you had, you'd be up $800, which is a nice chunk of change if you guys were.
Yeah, I mean, guys, listen, if you're not working or you're working for like $8 an hour, whatever the fuck minimum wage is, it's real easy. Bet the fucking games. It's not hard.
And I'm telling you who I'm taking. It's like all you have to do is like grow a sack. For those of you who have turned your dicks and asked for your dicks back, and be a man, and win some money. I guess people are still scared of winning money. And like the record shows, and you go back play by play, I'm up 55% where I said I'd be, and I'm only going to get better. Okay? So you continue to, watch this and do ho-hum and, I really do want to make some money. Then, it's one thing to want to do it. It's another thing to be a fucking man and do it. So I challenge all you men out there.
Martha.
And none of you guys that watch the show make a lot of money. I can tell you that for a fact, okay? If you want to put a nice little chunk of change, a nice little $800 to $1,000 in your pocket extra every week, I don't think anyone would say no. That would, you could still work at Wendy's and McDonald's and Friendly's and serve coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, and then you could still, take that $1,000 and go get yourself a nice hooker, a nice little blonde. Have her spend the night, and it's all because of you being a man. Then you can feel like a man now. You can ask for your dick back because you've already turned it in. So,
all right, let's go to the games of the week.
Okay.
We got the spread. This is Howard Cassell. All right, so we got Atlanta on the road against New Orleans. Atlanta is favored by 3. Who do you got?
Atlanta. I think Atlanta's rolling right now. New Orleans is a bad team. Atlanta's 5-0. They're going to be 6-0. I know New Orleans always plays them tough, but New Orleans is not New Orleans. The Superdome is not the Superdome anymore. Atlanta, it's a 4-quarter game. They're going to go in there. They're going to win. They're going to cover the spread. I think they'll win by 7-10. But Atlanta minus the points.
Well, before we go into this, I'm an idiot. Let's go over last week's what everybody did. So last week, Patrick, you went 10-4. Bringing your overall total to 48-29. Now, this is just a straight pick 'em again. This is not against the spread. We already did the spread. So 48-29, Patrick is. Last week, I went 8-6. And then Steve Goldman tied Patrick at 10-4. So the updated standings. Patrick in first place at 48-29. Steve Goldman is in second at 46-31. 2 games behind. I am now in last at 42-35. I'm 6 games out. And then we go to the Peon division. We got CV Gunn, went 10-4 last week. We got Yes to Anything That Is Cool Awesome, went 10-4 last week. And I think Steve Goldman James LeBlanc went 9-5. So the updated standings in the Peon division, James LeBlanc's in first at 40-21. Yes to Anything That Is Cool Awesome, 38-23, 2 games out, and CV Gunn tied with Yes That Is Anything Cool Awesome at 38-23, also 2 games out. So that's that. Now let's go into this. That was the Thursday night game. Denver is on the road against Cleveland, and they're favored by 4. Who do you got?
Taking Denver minus the 4. I think Cleveland's playing very well, but I also think Denver is still flying under the radar. They're undefeated, and I still think that they're a good enough football team with the weapons that they have on offense. I think Cleveland is very limited on offense. I think it's going to be a great game, and I think Denver's going to win by a touchdown.
All right, Cincinnati's on the road against Buffalo. They're favored by 3.5.
Taking Cincinnati, giving up the points, 3.5, right?
Yep.
I think that they're rolling right now, and Rex, I think Buffalo will have a good game. They came out of nowhere in the second half last week. But I still think Cincinnati, Dalton's playing too well, and A.J. Green's playing too well, and they got the 2 running backs that are playing well. And, they're rolling right now. So I'm going to roll with Cincinnati.
Rolling down the street,
give up the points.
Smoking Endo.
You can't sip
Smoking
it.
Endo, yeah, I know.
If you sip Endo,
just want to make sure you're paying
you'll probably end up with no left foot.
Ha! All right, Kansas City is on the road against Minnesota. Minnesota's favored by 3.5. Who are you taking?
Kansas City plus the points.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a close game.
Tight, close.
I'm going to take. It's going to be a low-scoring affair. I think Kansas City will stop their run. They'll take AP out of the game. I think it's going to be 13-10. 15-12. One of those games that you'll be sleeping all the way down the fourth quarter, like falling asleep. But you'll wake up and Kansas City will have covered the spread. So I'm taking Kansas City plus the points.
All right, Houston's on the road against Jacksonville. Houston is favored by a point.
Houston, I'm taking Houston just because of Arian Foster. That's the bottom line. It's the only reason why. I don't even want to go into the quarterbacks because it fires me up how stupid coaches are. But just because Arian Foster, I think Jacksonville's a good team, but I think Houston's better and they'll cover the point. 1 point, they'll win.
Chicago's on the road against Detroit. The Bears are favored. The Bears are favored by 3.
No, the Bears are underdogs.
The Bears are underdogs by 3.
I'm taking Chicago plus the points after their miracle victory last week. I'm gonna, Detroit's, it's a bad team. They should probably just stay home at the hotel and let the local high school team play. But play Chicago plus the 3.
All right, Washington's on the road against the Jets. The Jets are at home and they're favored by 6.
I'm taking the Jets to win by a touchdown. Washington has really screwed me on all these picks for some reason, but I continue to pick against them. I'm going to pick against them this week again because I think the Jets, with that convict coming back to man the nose tackle, the defensive tackle position, and with Brandon Marshall having such a big year and Ivy in the backfield and Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think they'll win by a touchdown.
All right, Arizona's on the road against Pittsburgh, and the Cardinals are favored on the road by 3.
I took Arizona minus the points strictly because Michael Vick's still a starting quarterback for Pittsburgh. I think Arizona is clearly the better team, but at Pittsburgh really, makes it an even game. It's definitely a field goal game either way. I just think Arizona is going to win, and I see them winning like 27-24, 27-21. So I'm taking Arizona minus the 3.
All right. Miami is on the road against the Titans, and the Titans are favored by 2.5.
I'm taking Miami plus the points. I think Miami's going to rebound after a bye week, and they're going to play their balls to the wall with the new head coach. And, it's going to be a flash in the pan, but I'm going to take advantage of Miami, and I think they're going to come out and play the best game they've played all year just because their head coach is no longer there. Some teams like to do that for some reason. But I'm taking Miami plus the 2.5.
All right, Carolina is on the road against Seattle, and Seattle's favored by 6.5.
I'm taking Carolina plus the points. Seattle, they choked. They absolutely choked on that lead. They're up 21-10, I think. They lose 24-21. I'm not sold on Seattle. Even the games that they've won, it's just been way too close. And that defense is not the same defense. The Legion of, Doom or whatever the fuck they call it. Fucking
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom.
Ooh.
I'm taking Carolina plus the 6.5. I think Carolina's gonna give them a game. They're gonna give them a great game, even though it's in Seattle. I think they're gonna. I think Seattle's gonna win the game, but I'm taking Carolina plus 6.5.
All right, San Diego's on the road against Green Bay. San Diego is the underdog. Green Bay's favored by 10.5 over San Diego.
I'm taking San Diego plus the points. I think Green Bay's going to win this game, and I think San Diego's going to score a late touchdown or a late field goal to cover the spread. So I'm taking San Diego plus 10.5.
Yeah, San Francisco's at home against Baltimore, and Baltimore's favored by 2.5 on the road.
I'm taking San Fran plus the points. I think they played probably their best game of the year last Sunday night against the Giants, and it was just another heartbreaker. But I think
heartbreaker.
I think they're coming together, even though they're losing. They're still coming together. I think they still have a lot of pride. I know their head coach does, and I think they're going to win this game outright. And I'm taking them plus the points as far as the spread goes.
All right, then on Sunday
in that next game,
Sunday night football,
it's New England at Indianapolis.
Yep, New England's at Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
And New England on the road is favored by 7.5.
Taking New England. Now, this spread could be 23.5, and I take New England. Okay, New England is going to come out, and they're going to come out for blood, and Indianapolis is going to get raped. I mean, the last 3 games now. Indianapolis has lined up as men versus men, the last 3 games against New England, okay? New England has rushed the ball 678 yards in 3 games against Indianapolis, okay? That's like having the New England School for the Blind and the deaf, okay? That's like, it's the same thing, but these are grown men. These are fucking NFL players that are still getting lit up like that. Brady's going to have something to prove. He's going to flick I'll be flicking off the, Grigson and all those fuckers and Irsay, because guess what? They're spoiled brats. They're losers. All they do is bitch and moan. I don't know if you heard, but this entire week, they're not even going to talk about any specific player. Yeah. Like, they were asking him about Deion Lewis, and he says, I don't even know who that is. Okay. Now, I mean, all they are is they're scared. They're very insecure because they were a bad football team. They're going to get fucking pissed. I mean, New England is just going to what they're going to do is drink Gatorade all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and they're not going to piss until the game is over. And they're going to be pissing everywhere and all over Andrew Luck and everybody, just keep on pissing and pissing and pissing because it's going to be a shit show. They're going to win this game. Everywhere. They're going to be winning this game by 30 points. So New England minus the 7.5.
All right, and then on Monday Night Football, this is Howard Cassell. We got Philadelphia Eagles at home against the Giants. Phillies favored by 4.5.
Taking the Giants plus the points. I think that once again Monday night, I think the Giants are a better football team than Philly is, and I'm going to take the Giants plus the points.
I think you're a better football team than Philly is.
Whatever that means.
Okay, so here we go. Let's go with the picks. All right, you got Patrick. You got Andy. Let's see here. You got Atlanta, New Orleans. Wow, look at these names. What do you got? See?
Atlanta.
All right, obviously. Denver, Cleveland.
Denver.
Now I'm going to take the upset of the week, Cleveland. After that performance last week against Baltimore, Denver can't score any fucking points.
Baltimore's a bad
I get
team.
it, but Denver can't score points. All right, Denver, Peyton Manning's 100 years old, and they're at home. I'm taking Cleveland. We'll see what happens. Okay. I think the reason I have a 6-game fucking deficit is because I've tried to take upsets, and I haven't gotten them.
Hey.
I'm bound, see?
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, 50-50 shots, see?
You want to write an article about it and start whining about it?
Wow. Cincinnati, Buffalo, who do you got?
Cincinnati.
Yep, okay. Then we got Kansas City, Minnesota.
Kansas City.
I have Minnesota. Kansas City just lost Jamal Charles. They are horrific. Houston, Jacksonville.
Houston.
I'm taking Jacksonville. We got Chicago, Detroit.
Chicago.
Detroit wins this game. Okay. After all the debacle that has been this week, they come together for their only win of the season, and they beat Chicago.
I don't see it.
At home. Washington, Jets.
Jets.
I'm going to take the Jets as well. Then we got Arizona, Pittsburgh.
Arizona.
In a very close... Well, see, you think it's close. It's going to be only because Pittsburgh's defense is going to keep them in it, but Pittsburgh's just fucking horrific. Miami, offensively with Vic in there. Miami, Tennessee.
Miami.
Okay, Tennessee's bound to win something at home after the mess that is Miami, Tennessee. I'm picking Tennessee. You're like, ha! And watch. Mark my words. You heard it here first. I'm beating you next week. You want to put some monies on it? I don't. All right, Carolina, Seattle. Carolina, Seattle. What do you got?
Seattle.
Now, Carolina. You have Seattle?
Yep.
I have Carolina. Oh, wow, this is a big week. I could fucking overtake you here. Or it could fucking be fucked. San Diego, if you don't win this thing. San Diego, Green Bay.
Green Bay.
All right, me too. And then you got Baltimore, San Francisco.
San Francisco.
What?
Yeah.
No. Baltimore.
Okay.
Wow. All right, we both have New England in that game, and we both have you have Philly or the Giants?
Giants.
Yeah, I do too. I think Giants are going to beat Philly.
That's got to be at least 6 or 7
So
games.
let's figure it out. We got 1, we got 2, we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games that are different. All right, what I forgot to do is transaction waiver wire time. We got transaction waiver wire. Here we go. He's like, enough. We got to do it. So, Thursday, October 8th. Bears sign linebacker John Timu to the practice squad.
No.
Dolphins fired defensive coordinator Kevin Coyle, promoted defensive backs coach Lou Anarumo to defensive coordinator.
It's just, firing people that, just to fire them. It's not going to help.
Friday, October 9th, the Patriots signed offensive lineman Chris Barker to the practice squad, released offensive lineman Sean Hickey.
No.
Saturday, October 10th, Raiders signed safety Tevin McDonald, released safety Taylor Mays.
Mays, and he's on the street again now.
Broncos released fullback James Casey.
No.
Cowboys placed running back Lance Dunbar, injured reserve, signed wide receiver Vince Mayle from the practice squad.
No.
Sunday there was nothing. Monday, October 12th, Washington signed cornerback Deverson Carr to the practice squad, released linebacker Lyndon Trell from the practice squad.
No.
Rams released running back Trey Watts.
No.
Jets activated defensive lineman Sheldon Richardson from the suspended list, waived tight end Wes Saxton. We already talked about Richardson. All right. Dolphins promoted Darren Rizzi to assistant head coach, special teams coordinator.
They can go out and take the ball boy and name him special assistant to the head coach, which all means that he gets coffee for the head coach. They can continue to do. It's not going to help them.
Colts signed kick returner, punt returner Marcus Thigpen, released quarterback Josh Johnson.
No.
Bears signed running back Antone Smith, placed running back Jacquizz Rodgers on injured reserve.
Wait, Antoine Smith? That's
Antone. It says Antone. Antone Smith. No, Antoine Smith for the Pats. Antoine Smith? No, different guy.
He didn't spell it that way?
No, Antoine.
No, I'm just asking. Yeah, okay. No. God, just relax.
Bills activated defensive end. Bills activated defensive end.
Like a broad. Down my throat.
IKM Kapali.
No.
Placed running back Sierra Wood on injured reserve.
No.
All right. Tuesday the 13th. Steelers activated wide receiver Martavius Bryant, released safety Ross Ventrone.
Bryant's going to be, he'll be the second best receiver on that team. He didn't play Monday night; he was eligible to, but he'll be the second guy there behind Brown, and then they have Hayward back. So he's going to help out the Steelers a lot.
Texans signed wide receiver Josh Lenz to the practice squad, released offensive tackle Edwan Coffin from the practice squad, signed defensive tackle Brandon Dunn from Chicago's practice squad, waived wide receiver Chandler Worthy.
No.
Cowboys waived wide receiver Vince Mayle.
No.
Bears signed wide receiver Nathan Palmer and defensive tackle DeAnthony Smith to the practice squad.
No.
Waived quarterback David Fales.
No.
Terminated the practice squad contract of center Ryan Seymour.
No.
Bills signed quarterback Josh Johnson. We talked about that. Released kicker Billy Cundiff. We talked about that. Ravens signed quarterback Sharice Wright. Signed cornerback, kick returner Asa Jackson, and cornerback Charles James II from the practice squad. Placed cornerback Will Davis on injured reserve. Terminated the contract of linebacker Jason Babin.